Hey y'all, I want to welcome y'all to this channel. It's a Chicago Vibe podcast. We'll be dropping this Saturday with your girl, Lady T. Marie and Mr. Success. You don't want to miss it. What up, y'all? It's your girl, Lady T. Marie with It's a Chicago Vibe. Today's topic is about Don't Shoot, a Dr. Martin Luther King edition. Stay tuned.
I'm not a sports team owner, so I don't comment on discussions or decisions I don't understand. Just because I'm a man of sports or fan, and I don't think some moves are not good moves, it might not be a good business decision move, or maybe something I'm not familiar with, because I never owned a team, other than on franchise mode in Madden, and I can't say I did really good that way. I try not to comment on ownerships, needs, and don'ts. Now, on the player side of it, comments I make like who's my decision to win or what it might take to win, needs and don'ts, I comment on and say I don't think that's a good decision because I have to make similar decisions playing or coaching sports. So tune in with me every morning, Monday through Friday on IG Live, 4:30 a.m. Central Time. Comment, like, disagree. Hey, it's 2 minutes to go sports talk with yours truly, Mr. Success. While some are just getting up, some about to just lay it down. Whatever the case may be, here's what's going on in sports around town. I'm the one and only Samuel Thompson Jr., Mr. Success, starting Monday, May 15th, 4 a.m. Make sure you tune in. You know my motto, when you with Mr. Success, you always have a ball. If I can't tell the truth, it's nothing at all. Mr. Success, bringing pleasure, no stress. See you Monday morning. Peace. All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to It's a Chicago Vibe with me,
DJ
Lady
Mr.
T.
Success.
And first things first, happy Mother's Day weekend to all the mothers. And we actually celebrating our 10th episode. Let me get right into the topic of our show right now. It's called Put the Guns Down, basically. That's what I'm going to call it, crime in our communities and stuff, you know. And the question is on a lot of people's mind, like, why is crime so high, especially in our community? And I'm going to just put it to you like this, plain and simple. Evil is winning. We are allowing evil to win by, advertising too much negativity to our youths, by exposing them to too much, not taking the time to teach them to know right from wrong. And you notice, I know everybody experienced this before. A child, especially when they little, they ask a lot of questions. Mom, what's the moon? From where the moon come from? They ask little questions like that, and you notice none of them never ask. They'll hear us in our zone, listening to our favorite song and music. And they sooner or later begin to like the songs that we're listening to. And they never ask, Mom, what's this? What's that? What's that about the songs? It's just like a natural, something that come to them. And most people right now is riding around in the cars with their kids and basically listening to drill music, talking about sliding on people on sight. And people, come on now, they got men where they want us at, and they're working on the women now. Every woman want to get dressed, look nice, spend all their money on stilettos and expensive clothes and stuff to work all week now, and then get dressed, go out to a party, to act the fool, to spend all their money, but then the club gets shut down because people want to act the fool. And it's just something we need to do in our communities as sticking together, Well, let me rephrase that, because we do stick together at times. Us as people, or not just people, I'm going to just keep saying, I said this on previous other shows, that it's not about race, color, creed, or whatever you is. It's just good and evil people. And us as good people, we're allowing evil to win. And good people, we are easily distracted, divided, manipulated. Somebody can, and speaking of Martin Luther King, I did a little skit with this young lady from the school of mine and stuff, and it was another part of the skit. The women was talking about where are the 2023 Martin Luther Kings. And I got a question, where are the 2023 Coretta scheme, because it take a lot. They tried to manipulate. Martin Luther King's dream could have easily got shot down when it was manipulated about, oh, he's cheating, he's this. It take a strong woman to put up with all that. And that's how I like, because it was a lot of kings back in the day. A lot of them got destroyed because it wasn't a strong team. And now today, nobody builds a strong team because everybody wants to be the center of attention. Everybody's striving for more attention, this, that, and the other, more power. And that's all what's going on in the streets, because a lot of these neighborhood organizations was made for good. And evil manipulates at them and takes controls over them. Everybody wants to be the king. Everybody wants to be the man and don't even know how to lead and stuff. To help us collaborate on our topic today, we got a special guest with us today, and all the crime and why is crime so high in the city, and any advice you could give to youngsters, because a lot of youngsters are influenced about what they see and the people in the community around them. Is there some advice you could get in? First of all, introduce yourself, Booby.
Well, my name is Booby. I grew up on the south side of Chicago. I grew up in the Jeffrey Mountain community, and I'm here to give some great advice on what we could do to try to solve this all this stuff that's going on with the kids.
That's great. That's great. And the activist group, tell us a little bit about the little activist group that you, and I know Brother Frazier started and stuff a little while back.
Yeah, most definitely. Big Brother Money Frazier, Street Voices. I'm a part of Street Voices, and I'm also a part of Growth and Development.
All right, and tell us a little bit more about Street Voices. That's a group that actually was formed, to bring awareness to the community and stuff, to let people know we could do stuff ourselves and stick together and don't fall for the okie doke all the time, because tricks that's going on in the neighborhood today is like we real divided. When every time somebody put us together, we get easily manipulated to divide again. The same tricks they was playing back in the 70s to break up all the organizations, because look at all the street organizations. It started from 5 and 6. Look at the 5 Point Star itself. It got so many different gangs up under it now that started from 1. Look at the 6 Point. Started from 1, got so many different gangs underneath. It's not the gangs fighting 5 and 6. It's gangs with inside each organization's fighting each other for power, money, and that's one thing I would like to show the minders. If you could get paid to do something, people can always control you with money. Money is the root of all evil, and a lot of people, you got to think sometimes you're in a predicament because somebody forced you to be there before they can control you with money and things like that. And then you got to think you will never gain nobody's respect by doing stuff for money, because they feel if you did this for money, you will take them out for money or do stuff like that. And so that's all what's going on in the community, a lot of hatred. And before we get deeper into you, Booby, I want to just tell this little story. I was actually on the way home from an event and walking to the house, and school was letting out or something, or they was on recess or something, but it was a little boy, grammar school still across from my house. He hollered out at me, "What you doing walking up this block, wrong block?" Just showing out for his little friends. And there was a little girl standing next to him saying, "Leave that man alone, stop playing with people, boy." So I reached in my bag. I normally carry this little microphone that does sound effects and stuff. I was finna holler at him through the mic, but I left it at home that day. I didn't feel it. But I reached in there because I was going to tell him, "Young man, you remind me of myself. That's a nice young lady you sitting there with. You should keep on your team." I was going to say something like that through the mic, but I ain't have it. But his first instance, he started saying, "Here, reach in that bag. I'm ready. I'm finna do that." I'm like, why? Is that our first reaction to somebody of our own? And I mean, it's like the environment we in. His first thing that I was gonna go report him, but I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna do something better. I'm gonna go over there to the school one day, and what I'm saying now, I'm gonna ask them to do assembly or something. I can speak to the kids, and guide them the right way, not just getting them in trouble, because that ain't gonna help. Because it was like a attendee standing like right there. She kind of heard it, but I could tell she was looking, but wasn't looking. I could tell this kid just gave so many problems. That's why I say he reminded me of me. Just needed a little guidance and stuff. So I'm gonna try to do it that way. And I just don't want us to always be the target. We already the target by so many. And then for us, our own, to just look at each other, think we're a threat to one another. And it's migrants and stuff that we don't have no clue who they are, what their background is, just walking through our neighborhoods, and nobody asks them any questions. They could open up a store. No one asks them any questions. We're going there and shop free Willie. and don't ask no questions, but you will ask somebody the same as you a question of what you doing here, thinking I'm opposition. And that's another thing. We got this competitive thing going too far. People don't know the difference between team. If you on the same team, you don't compete against yourself. You help and push one another. But that goes back to saying that everybody wanted to be the center of attention of everything. So I'm gonna let you go on and add some on to Lady T.
I want to talk about how I want to just give y'all a little history of where I come from. I grew up on the west side of Chicago, mainly majority of my life, and then when I became a teenager, I grew up on the south side of Chicago, so I got the best of both worlds. And some people say the west side is worse than the south side. It's all to me the same. But I've actually witnessed more people actually getting murdered visually on the west side of Chicago than I've seen on the south side. And it's still going on, and this was going on in the 80s. But I would say the difference from now to then is that, I feel like the women and the children were safe. If something was finna pop off or jump off or whatever, we were told that y'all need to get in the house, y'all need to run for cover or whatever. Now it's like this generation is like our children's children is out here just being reckless, just innocent people just getting murdered. And back in the day, if you had beef with anybody, you gonna go up to that person and deal with whatever beef you got with that individual. And even going even further back, when my parents was younger, they would fight it out. You never really hear too much about people was, getting shot or getting murdered. You know what I'm saying? They had a fight. They break dance, you know what I'm saying? Have a break dance battle. So it's like, I feel like we need to go back to the old days, and you know what I'm saying, if you got beef with somebody, fight, whether you fight it out then shoot it out, so that's just my take on it.
Yeah, you got anything to add to this, Booby?
Okay. Well, from my opinion and my perspective of things, I think that the it all starts in the household because Bo, how me and you grew up, you and I grew up. We had good parents, and we had parents that stayed on us regardless of what we did. And I think it starts in the household. I think collectively that we could be more effective if we get these kids back in line as far as the household. Start chastising them. Start back chastising them. I mean, like for real chastising them and telling them right from wrong. That's the problem today. We're not doing that no more. By that's being more limited today in the household as far as the upbringing, is feeding into this bull, into this BS that's going on out here, when it comes to the street. And I think if we start back doing that more, then that would kind of stop a lot of this unnecessary stuff that's going on the street, because then the parents are back involved. We're not afraid of our kids no more. We started back raising our kids and getting control of them, and getting more control of things, getting back in control of things. Because the more that we ignore them at home, I think that they're going to continue to see what they seeing on this internet, and they're gonna see what they're gonna see on the street, and they're gonna go by that, because obvious that's more stronger. There's more of a stronger influence, and it's only because, as I said before, the parents is not involving themselves no more, man. They let these kids be too loose. So I think that we can be more effective if we start back from the household, because that's where it come from, and forget what this government talking about, you know what I'm saying, because the government don't run my household, he's not there when my child is being shot at, or everybody's not around, you know what I'm saying. This body of government is not around when these kids is out here getting involved in drugs, or if they go astray, that one quick moment when they go astray and go to doing some things that they ain't got no business doing. So, I think it starts back, coming from the household, man. We need to not care about what the government is talking about, and we need to start back doing it our way, the way that we were raised.
Right. And I totally agree. And that goes back to what I was saying earlier about respect. A lot of these kids don't show no respect. They're seeing too much. The parents is like exposing them and allowing them to see too much. Kids are growing up way before their time, man. And like I say, evil manipulates everything. You know, the government was built for a reason. You know, policing was built for a reason. Our organizations in the community was built for a reason, but evil then somehow manipulate everything that was started for good for evil. And that's what us as
Mm-hmm.
humankind, period, need to recognize and teach and preach the difference between this, that, and the other. And spread more positive energy. Everybody you wake up listening to negativity or doing negative things, it's just going to affect. Add more negative plus a negative, you're going to keep building negative. And then you wake up one day and, oh Lord, help me, this, that, other. Okay, you done did all this negative stuff. Okay, because you then read in the Bible that Lord forgives and he'll answer your prayers and stuff. But all, you know, it's 7 days a week, 24 hours in a day. You pick a 30 minutes out of one day to want to praise and get testimony and ask for this and carry on, but you're not showing no influence. And it, like you say, we have to discipline our kids. We got to teach them right for wrong. We got to have that. I know it's a lot of stuff that causes different ways to hack, especially in our communities. You know, they take away the fathers from the home, and you know, it's hard for a mother to raise a kid and they let anybody up in there. But no, we got to do better, us as a community. We can't get jealous of one another. And that's a lot of things boil down to jealousy. And speaking of why I'm on jealousy, it's like people blame Jordan for all the crime because people want to kill him over get killed over Jordan gym shoes or iPhones and stuff. And we take time to explain to our children what a pair of Jordans is for. If you're not trying to be a basketball player to get your step up, you shouldn't even want a pair of Jordans. If you're not trying to get into
Mm-hmm.
videography or something like that, what do you want to go steal somebody's iPhone for? Take what they got and you're not going to do nothing with it, but just to say you have it, you know, to impress a lady or a male or whoever you want. That's what we got to do. We got to start disciplining our kids, keeping them together, teaching them right from wrong, and stop the jealousy and all the hate. You know, you're supposed to congratulate person when they doing good, especially if it's some positive, and not let the negative people, because they really done took all the influences in our community off the street. And the ones that's like me and you still out here is not really stepping up because they try to find a way to put us down anywhere, you know, find like right now, if somebody's watching this show not to support it, is they're trying to find something wrong with it to bring it down because it is doing some good. And that's how evil works. They try to manipulate people.
Yeah.
Oh, he or she say they this, they that, but then they
Absolutely.
doing this. But if I'm doing good, that all that count. What's all in the past and manipulated person to do from the past is, you know, all of us that fell under the manipulation before. You know, ain't nobody's perfect. So
Yes. Yes, we have.
And I wanted to ask Clarence a question. How has violence affected you in your life?
Oh wow. Well, you know, as we all know, and all of us as Black people has been around violence all our life, especially dealing in an impoverished community that we grew up in. You know, ignorance. You know what I'm saying? The drugs and you know and the gunplay that's been went on around us, but it has affected me tremendously. I've been shot before, jumped on,
Um,
shot at, you know, 1,000 times, until I finally woke up, decided to sit my black butt down somewhere, you know what I'm saying? Luckily, I was in time enough to do that because, hey, I could have been one of them brothers laying in the graveyard, and then, it's been times that I wasn't the victim and I have actually witnessed with my own eyes in front of my face, dudes getting shot,
yeah,
jumped on, stabbed, hit by cars, I mean, sometimes it has been fatal. So, and then it's an influenced me because at once upon a time, I was a participant. You know what I'm saying, and
yeah,
it didn't do nothing but take me astray. I got charged up because I knew I had enough heart to, to act, to act out the same acts. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
I said, until I woke up and got my head straight. You know what I'm saying? So for the most part, it has affected me a lot, and but I'm doing something about it. So, but it
Okay.
has affected me.
And another question I would like to ask as well, what is it that stopped you from, being in the streets? That what is it that you could let somebody that's out there feel like this is all they got? They feel like they're a product of their environment. And what is it that you could tell them they can do to get them out the street?
Well, I would suggest to the youth that I would suggest to the youth that first of all, pump your brakes and sit back and slow down and just take a look at what's going on around you and use your common sense and ask yourself, do I really want to, man, look at all this madness? Do I really want to continue to be a part of this? Like, wow, that can happen to me if I keep on going down the road that I'm going. You know what I'm saying? And
Absolutely.
I would also tell the youth that don't ever just sit back and make that because it's nothing but a delusion. It's nothing but an excuse when you say, "Oh, this all I have, this is all I got." That's a
Mm,
lie. That's something that you want to do because, I must admit it is attractive. It is. You know what I'm saying? It's something easy to get into. Like my grandmother used to tell me all the time when I was little, in the Jeffrey Manor. I don't know if Bo remember this, but my grandmother used to tell me all the time. She used to say trouble is easy to get into, but it's hard to get out.
That's
It's
right.
ab-
very easy to get into, but once you get in it, it's hard to get out. And we all know that. I'm not saying nothing that's new. And but I would tell them, to sit back and start thinking, start using your head, start thinking, and turn that light bulb on. You know what I'm
mhm.
saying? Your common sense gonna start kicking in, and that's what's gonna change your decision making. Because that's very important. You know what I'm saying? And once they begin to do that, and they see that they can do other stuff and try the stuff out that's legitimate, and that's gonna help them live long and put God more in their life, then they'll be okay. But they have to do it. They have to sit back
Absolutely.
and do that, and they got to start listening to their parents. They got to start listening to the adults that's on the street, the ones that's really trying to put some fat on their head and send them down the right road and tell them like,
And
man, this
you
ain't what you want, youngster, or this ain't what you want, young lady.
Absolutely.
So
and I like to encourage all younger people too. You gotta guide younger people, and you gotta show them stop letting money control you. Learn how to control money. You gotta teach the youth, get them
Mm,
something else, more role models to look up to. Just because you think this the coolest guy in your neighborhood, he's wearing this pants sagging and stuff like that. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that tempt the young mind. You got to work with the young mind, especially now they
absolutely.
listen to all this music and stuff. It's the role models for a lot of these young. Then they see their parents doing it. They drink in front of them, smoking and doing whatever, swearing, cussing, and all that in front of that. That's a no-no. So when you were saying that first, it starts at home. We have to take things like that and run with it. It starts
Absolutely.
at home, and then it takes more than it's a saying something about a village to raise a
Really.
child,
Yes.
and it is. It's like I
yeah.
know you remember from our block when we was coming up, everybody knew each other.
Hmm.
Everybody knew
Mm-hmm.
the kids. Kids used to be out jumping rope, playing football or whatever. You could go in and
Oh
out of
yeah.
anybody's house, but it's not like
Yep.
that nowadays. A neighbor
Yeah.
into us with neighbors, it's across the street, you and people do everything in front of their kids, and then not knowing that the music that they listening to talking about shoot on sight. People got babies in the car with them. That's
Yeah.
why a lot of our
Mm,
youngsters are getting hit and get in the crossfire and everything. Because a lot of these guys don't have no military training. They don't know how to shoot. Most people, you ask them to
Nope.
hold a gun and point at them, they're gonna hold it just like this in one hand. That's not how you do it. You need to start teaching these kids at a young age what this is for and about this stuff. It's just they teach there's too much negativity floating around, especially in our community.
absolutely. And I want to add too, I feel like we need more programs for the youth. We need more funding. So we need to knock on the doors of the aldermen, the governor, the mayor, and we need more things for these young people to do. Not just to go bowling, not just to go skating. We need to create some type of plan to prepare them for college or some type of plan to to a big brother program, a big sister program, to, you know, because some, and I'm gonna just be real. I'm from the hood. I'm from the streets, and all that, and just to be real, like a lot of people issues be just as something as simple as they ain't got enough food in the refrigerator. You know what I'm saying? Or they trying to help their mother pay a bill, because it's either whether I'm gonna pay the bill today, or I'm gonna eat, or pay the car note, or, you know, they struggling, and they really, you know, they looking for an outlet, and it's not an excuse for you to go take somebody's life because you struggling. But I'm just saying, this is the gateway of how a lot of people get in the streets, because they, you know, they probably was bullied, you know what I'm saying? And they join, you know, different organizations because of whatever, to fit in, because they don't have anybody. Ain't nobody showing them no type of love. Ain't nobody, you know, giving them the respect they feel like they deserve. It's a number of reasons why people, the youth, and not just the youth, it's grown men out here that still, you know, thinking they, you know what I'm saying, with the stuff. And it's just like, come on now, you're a grandpa, you're a grandma, you know what I'm saying? It's time for you to sit down and be an example, you know, be a light in a dark place for people. Because like, if I was sharing with somebody, a friend of mine, that it's so much, and we was talking about this earlier, like it's so much that violence that's going on, to where we hit gunshots and it's like the new norm, you know what I'm saying, to where people don't even run no more, because um we just so immune to hearing gunshots. Oh, they just shooting over there around the corner. They just on the block shooting. You know what I'm saying? Nobody run no more. So it's just like, it's not normal to be addicted to hear gunshots, and then to see a 7-year-old, or see a baby or a grandmother that's just walking down the street trying to go get groceries and feeding for her family before generations before her. You know what I'm saying? Just to see her get gunned down in the middle of the street, her blood in the middle of the street. Like, it's just, something needs to be done. And so we got to figure out, what is it that we need to do? Do we need to change the gun laws? You know what I'm saying? Do we need to, and I hate to say the saying, you know, jail them to the penitentiary for a gun charge, but something is gonna have to stop. You know what I'm saying? Something, and it's like, you have to carry a gun in Chicago, whether you have, as a man, and I say this, and I know it's Mother's Day coming up this weekend, but for the men that's out there and that's under the sound of my voice, I understand, and I see from my brothers and my homies that how it's a lot. You know what I'm saying? Just like Sammy said earlier, the young dude just wanted to size him up only because he walking down the street. You know what I'm saying? You ain't even safe to walk nowhere, not from downtown to nowhere really in the city of Chicago. And I feel like, we gotta do something, gotta be done. And we can't look to the alderman, just the you know what I'm saying, the mayor, to do these things. I feel like, as the village, like he said earlier, that village, we gonna have to be out here and go stand on these blocks and go, you know what I'm saying, you see your kid in the crib and they got a gun, just get that gun, whatever it is, it's gonna take everybody, you know what I'm saying, as a community, to stop this. And it can be stopped, and nothing is impossible, you know what I'm saying, to do. But if we just sit back and just watch it, like it's okay, oh, it's okay, you know what I'm saying, everybody's saying, oh, the shorty's taking over, is not cool. Because if the shorty's taking over and they having children, like, where are we gonna be in the next 10 years, y'all?
Exactly. And that goes back when you mentioned about we need programs and stuff in the neighborhoods and stuff. Like both my grandkids, they into like sports and stuff like this. And we take them out to all, every time they play a team, it's either out in Orland Park or somewhere. It's one of those fancy, you know, white folks neighborhoods or something like that. Not really bougie, but I'm gonna get into that. And I look at their sponsors, they have new equipment, they have this, that, they got like the Mercedes dealer then donated and sponsored them. They got like every store that's in their community that sponsored to them. And they team got nobody but the parents, the sponsors for them, or grandparents or family members. They get collections from us. And all the stuff going on in our community, we don't connect because we don't own nothing in our communities, for one. And then the people, the stores that's in our community, they donate back to their community. They get their teams and stuff, all the money to support their teams and stuff. So it's like we end up we need to create more win-win situations for ourselves. And that's the thing about why leadership was took out the community, real leadership anyway. They lead the knuckleheads out on the street to control the communities and stuff because they know they only got one thing on their mind, you know. Yes. Committing negative stuff, you know. But you know, when the real people that was organized stuff, they put the pressure on a lot of these stores. You in our community, you got to kick back down to us. You know, we got this youth center. We need new equipment. We need a softball team. We need this and that. You know, they took all those guys away that were standing up for what the needs and don'ts. And like you say earlier, Lady T, we need to be on the aldermen. A lot of people don't even know who the alderman is in their community, a lot of youngsters. But then they got the nerve to tell people what block they can and can't come up this day block. They'll die for their street. You don't own nothing on your street. Let's get that understood. Your parents probably renting. You don't own nothing on your street. So you need to get and learn how to own and, you know, become a businessman on your street.
That's it. And I agree. And I have something for Clarence as well. After this. And I agree exactly what you're saying. A lot of people, a lot of these kids don't even know nothing about no credit. You know what I'm saying? They don't know how to build their credit up. They don't know, you know, the first thing to do, because a lot of them probably been had stuff in their name since they was kids. You know what I'm saying? It's just the reality of being real. But we need more entrepreneur classes, you know, to teach the youth and parents, because a lot of parents don't know. I didn't really learn about my credit until I got grown. Nobody ever told me, oh, make sure you take care of your credit. Don't put this in your name. Don't put that in your name. So we as a culture, and not just Black, you know, just whatever culture you are, I feel like we need to teach our children about building, about entrepreneurship. Everybody's not meant to be a boss. Some people are meant to be a worker, but if you have that drive and you want to become a boss, find something else to do, because the streets is not it. Selling drugs is not it. It's gonna lead you. And I got homies that's literally in the penitentiary doing fed time, real time, 20, 30 years in prison, and they land on their back in prison right now, thinking like, man, I shouldn't have never pulled that trigger. I should have never did this. I should have never. It's always gonna be a shoulda. And you right now, your mind can't comprehend that, because you in your element, you in your zone. But I guarantee you, if you do something, you do a crime, you get locked up, you sit in 20, 30, 40, maybe even 100 years, depending upon what you do, you done threw your whole life down the drain. Not only did you throw your life down the drain, if you have any children out here, people don't understand. And I don't just want to pick on the youth, but whoever commits a crime, whether you're young or old, people don't understand how it affects the person who you murdered, family. It affects your family. It affects you. You know what I'm saying? It affects your children. So you gotta think. You know what I'm saying? You gotta think. You gotta allow God to come into your life and make a change. You know what I'm saying? You gotta want to change. You don't have to be in the streets because your homie in the streets and your Uncle Junebug was in the streets, and you know what I'm saying, and they did put in work in the street. You don't owe nobody nothing but God. You don't owe nothing. You don't owe nobody anything. So you just gotta have a mindset and it starts from home. It's the scriptures say, train up a child in the way that they shall go, even though they may stray away. You got to plant the seed. You know what I'm saying? You have to plant the seed in your children. I don't care if they ain't your kids. And if you see a child going down the wrong path, look, grab them up. Like, look, I need you to you better than this. You know what I'm saying? It will take 10 seconds out of your day to tell another child, tell whomever, or a person that's doing something wrong, look, you better than this. You could do, there's purpose in you. Sometimes people don't even believe in themselves. And that's why they doing all the evil and doing all the wrong, because they don't believe in themselves. So, you know, all I'm gonna say is this: you just gotta find a new way. You gotta find something different. Find something that you love to do besides hurting other people, and that's just what it is. Dr. Martin Luther King said that he had a dream that we one day will get here to where we wouldn't be segregated by the white man or whoever the KK, whoever was segregating us. Now we free, but is we really free? What we really free from? So we don't want his dream to die. We want his dream to live. So it's on you, Sammy.
Yep, that's all. And like I said, you could just be a leader, stop being followers, stop letting other people influence you. And then it does start in the home when, like you mentioned the part about glorifying, because I said a lot of this went on in my house. So Uncle such and such used to do this, Uncle such and such used to do that. But I also had my father taught me, like, you don't have to be like your uncle such and such because they did this. There's other ways to win and fight battles and stuff too. You don't have to lash out on nobody because they disrespected you or this, that, other. There's other ways to get people back, And that's when I learned sometimes you smile and tell a person thank you. Sometimes you can kill a person with kindness that way. Because people sometimes try to push your buttons on purpose to make you look like a bad person. But on that note, we're going to take a small commercial break and we'll be back after these messages.
Many people struggle with grief and it can weigh you down, but God wants you to be free. There is a time, a season, and a purpose for everything under the sun. This commercial was sponsored by It's a Chicago Vibe with Lady T. Marie and Mr. Success. Hey you, do you feel your back is up against the wall with nowhere to go or turn? Mental illness is real. And if you or someone you know is battling with this demon, try Jesus. This commercial is sponsored by the Lord.
All right, everybody, welcome back to this Chicago 5, and we're here. We're talking about a really deep topic here today because this affects not only me, him, her, this affects the whole community, the whole outcome of the world, the nation, what's going on, People need to wake up and see signs of war all over the place, You need to be somewhere in a corner praying, thanking God that you still breathe instead of going out trying to take somebody else's life. Learn about what guns and stuff are made for.
Absolutely.
Guns was made for hunting and protection, not hunting humans. Going out shooting at your so-called ops because you don't even know what opposition is. So, the opposition is evil. It's good and evil, plain and simple. Ain't no opposition. That's all it is. Either you're on the good side or you're on the evil side. Now, if you're an evildoer, by all means, get down. And it's time for us good people, God's children, to wake up and start doing God's work because we're allowing evil to win. And not on my watch.
I would say, if they want to fight, and not really fight, but if you're gonna fight, I'd rather you fight it out. You fight with somebody, but now you can't even trust that because somebody might get mad and you might end up dead. But I would say this: like, if you want to shoot people, go to the Army.
Exactly. Get to do it for free. Paid to do it,
Get paid. Build a career of fight for your country, not fight against the people in the country.
And I'm glad you brought that up. I want to make this a perfect example for any of you older guys that be trying to pay these youngsters to go do this, that, and other. They're not trained. If you really that mad at somebody and want to execute them out, you join the Army. Get somebody professional. You want to spend $20,000 to get somebody took out, and you send a little child that's supposed to be somewhere learning or planning to go off for college and stuff like that. It just don't make no sense. If you're gonna just live that lifestyle, come on, don't be ignorant with it. Do your research, because real gangsters don't talk. They don't let people know what it is they do. Everybody want to advertise, I'm this, I'm that, I'm the big bad Willie in this town and this, that, no. Real men move in silence. They hush. They down. They don't get young kids to go out and do. They influence young kids to become business professionals.
Absolutely. I wanted to say before I ask
And,
the question, I wanted to say this other thing as well, that a lot of kids are killing other people, killing just innocent people because a lot of this stuff is in the music. A lot of this stuff is in the music, and you have to guard your ears and your eyes. What is allowed to come into your spirit, man, because what so a man thinketh, so was he. So if that's what all you been listening to is, I hit him up, you know what I'm saying? Shoot him in the face, you know what I'm saying? Like, whatever. You listening to that and that type of energy is around you, like that's what you're gonna do. So we can't all just blame it on the music, but I feel like as artists, because I deal with a lot of artists, and I don't deal with any artist that does drill music or does music that's gonna talk about. Now, if they talking about, man, something that happened in the past and he had beef, woo woo, and that's something different. But if you literally out there putting your music, so man, I'm gonna pull up on your block, I'm gonna send shots and all this other extra stuff, then you a product, you bad for the community, because we trying to bring peace, you know what I'm saying? We're trying to bring peace and just in love, and that's what we missing in the world. Like, not just the city of Chicago, from New Orleans to New York, the whole world, from Africa. It's violence in Africa. It ain't just Chicago, but they make it seem Gary, Indiana, you know what I'm saying? They say that's the murder capital of the United States, but it's different places, that I just think they need to be a little stricter on they gun laws. You know what I'm saying?
It ain't even really the gun laws. It's because we did a show about this, it's censorship. Certain stuff you can and can't say, but it's all right to get on the radio and say I could kill a man and stuff like that. That's all right to say because it's only being played in our communities. And it starts right there, and it's a lot more other things behind it and go with it. We as a group of people need to step up, do more things about it. And people trick us all the time in the voting form that they're gonna do this, do that, and it never happens, and anybody really care about what's going on in the areas, don't even really stay in the areas and don't know what's actually to do, what the area need. But it's because if I'm gonna tell you right now, if people really want to stop crime in some of these areas, they will let out some of these leaders. Because if you look at, this is a statistic people do not look at. Look at the crime rate when they indicted Mr. Hoover back in, what was it, 92, 93, 94, whatever year that was, they indicted him.
No, 1995.
Listen at that time, look how high the crime rate and murder rate went up since he got indicted. Even before then, go back a little deeper. When Jeff got locked up in the 80s, it was a big peak in crime and stuff then, because there's nobody out here leading, showing these guys. Nobody faces no consequences behind no activity that they do. And it's just...
And I definitely agree with you. And that's why I said the era from when in the 90s, when I grew up and when I was in the streets, it was order. You know what I'm saying?
Nobody's following no order.
It was order. And I feel that even I'm gonna go as far as back as when Tupac was in position and he was alive and he was created the Thug Life movement. And I feel like they did whatever they did. I ain't gonna get into the depths of what happened there, but they knew that he had something that was powerful. He was the voice of our culture. So they like, nah, that's too powerful. Anybody that's powerful, from Malcolm X to Dr. King to Harold Washington,
and
they take them out of here.
And to go along with that, when you brought up Tupac and all the music he was doing, I'm gonna bring up some reason why they got me into music, DJing, scratching, house music. House music was a music that you played all around downtown Chicago, You see every race culture came out to do it, the LGBT community be in there, but you was in there for your purpose. You wasn't worried about who was around you. House music was something you could groove to, was bringing peace, harmony. Everybody was happy. It'd be different so-called oppositions on the floor with each other, hats turned a certain way, and people still got along and had fun. And they took all that away, and now it's all this trap and drill music going on, and that's what the kids grow up they listening to and being affected. But we running out of time here on the show, so it's about the time to close it out. So, Lady T,
I want to ask Clarence, how could the people find you and your organization? Can you let them know first?
Yes. You can. Well, I don't have a platform at this moment. If I can,
your social media, you can give me your social media.
Okay, my social media. Well, I'm on Facebook. You know, it's by my government name, Clarence Jones. You can find me on there, and that's basically where you can find me for right now.
Okay.
It's on social media. You know, if anybody want to go in my inbox, they can do that. I'll be more than happy to conversate with you guys, have a positive conversation, and try to continue to come up with a logical solution for these kids out here, because that's what it's all about. I'm not worried about no adults. You know, I'm just strictly worried about the kids, because like I said, that's where it started from. I believe in my heart that that's what things will go to going back to normal once we capture their mind back. Once we teach them to fight off the shackles of colonialism and the slavery that got our minds wrapped up, then we begin to make another, we begin to be more effective, you know, because, you know, Pac gone. You know, they got Larry up under the jail cell. They got Jeff up under the jail cell. Malcolm gone. You know, King gone. You know, they wiped him out. You know what I'm saying? Right before our eyes. So, like I said, my Facebook page is Clarence Jones, and if, you know, that's the platform that you can meet. That you can get with me for right now until I create one. And like I said, you can inbox me, comment on my page at any given time.
All right, all right. All right, Lady T, take us home with the words of affirmation for the day.
Wow, today words of affirmation is don't shoot. You know, put the guns down. Let the young lady, let the young man, let the old lady, let the child live. Let you live and love yourself. Love will carry you places that nothing else will carry you. So you got to show love, show agape love, and love yourself. You got to love yourself first and love God in order to love somebody else. So I'm your girl, Lady T. Marie, signing out with It's a Chicago Vibe. See y'all later.
All right, all right. You know my motto, when you witness success, you always have a ball. If I can't tell the truth, it's nothing at all. Mr. Success, bringing pleasure, no stress. Until next week, y'all. Peace.
Out.
C-H-I-C-A-G-O, let's go, go, C-H-I-C-A-G-O, C-H-I-C-A, 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 let's go, go, C-H-I-C-A-G-O,